The Boy from Oklahoma. By Don Mayfield. April 1982. In 1951, after nearly 100 years of pit bull dog breeding in the United States, breeding reached a peak. In Arizona, a male named Bouncer was bred to a female named Bambi by a male named Ed Richardson. In the litter was a red dog with a dark blue muzzle. This dog was bred from American game dogs. He was raised, and named, by a black man since he was a puppy. This dog was called Dibwa. In Africa the word Dibwa means devil. In his pedigree there were more than 100 years of game dogs bred in the United States. These dogs have been proven in the ring. His family was the best raised in the world. Dibwa and his family were the product of that American upbringing. His lineage showed all areas of the USA. The American game dogs, of Dibwa's pedigree, were dogs that proved their gameness in combat in America. These pit bull dogs arrived in our country in the mid-1800s from Europe. Some of the pit bull dogs that were brought to our nation were bred from different purebred families in England, Ireland and Scotland. They were raised together, in their nations. Then they were imported into our nation, and crossed with another pure family, who were being challenged, with each other, to prove which were the most competitive families. Men like Cockney Charlie Lloyd, imported purebred English dogs, and crossed them with the English breeding of our nation. These men equipped themselves with few dogs, but they proved that their breeding was the most fighting. In the days of the late 1800s and early 1900s, Con Feely, who had already put many dogs to fight, became a breeder for different English families. They were created in the USA. F.G. Henry imported some English red dogs, and crossed them with the successful family of Con Feelys. Over the next few days, the English dogs were being brought into combat. Being tried and bred, on the north coast of our nation. Irish families were being made similarly in the East Coast area. J.P. Colby was a male crossbred from different purebred Irish pit bull families with crosses from other Irish families that were being crossed on the East Coast. Several different men, putting their dogs to the duel, proved the courage of the creation, which was being selected, in dog fighting. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, the Irish dogs, the ones that were proving themselves with the most game mess, arrived in Texas in Bill Shipley's backyard. Bill imported a pure Irish family from Ireland, and crossed it with the Irish family, which had been bred in the U.S. In the early 1900s, the next name that would go on to be famous in the game dog world was Earl Tudor. Until then the most famous was the Dogman Con Feely, from Illinois. Then in 1908 a man named Earl Tudor came along, he's from Oklahoma City. Earl was the man who put the most dogs to fight, and who proved the most gameness with his dogs. Much more than any other man in his time. He crossed the F.G. Henry families with the Con Feely families. In the late 1930s, early 1940s, Earl was proving that his breeding was the best. At that time he crossed the purest dogs that were proven in the ring. They were of English upbringing, with Irish families, of Bill Shipley, which was 200 miles from him, in the city of Texas. This brought together the pit bull dogs that were bred in the north, and the pit bull dogs that were bred in the east, all the way to the central U.S. Earl Tudor proved to have the best gameness dogs in the USA in the 1940s. In the early 1950s, Earl Tudor was in Arizona, observing the breeding of dogs. He was taken to see the dog, named Dibwa. Earl Tudor was very fond of the dog, so he took the dog to Oklahoma with him. At first he called this dog Red Runt, but later he came back with the name Dibwa. Earl bred the Dibwa to several females from his family of dogs. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Earl closed down a line of dogs, breeding them purebred. His dogs were different from the families raised in the USA. His family was the core, like almost every other creation in America, being merged in Earl's backyard. In the 1960s through the early 1970s, Earl developed his lineage of American game dogs in a family of dogs that looked alike. In the early 1960s through the late 1970s, Earl Tudor's dogs were the ones who tasted gameness the most. The Earl proved with his dogs more than any other man of his time. Before fighting was illegal. Today, in the early 1980s, society around the world is looking for a family of excellent fighting dogs. Here in Texas, on top of a mountain beside a long creek, we breed from the Ring, a pure American family of gameness dogs. In recent years, we have had few dogs from this family. Several nations are looking for a family with the best fighting dogs, being proven in several nations. Crusade with the understanding of different men, with the aim of extracting the gameness. At the same time, Paul Harvey told a journalist, "Today the population believes that a dog has a spirit, and that it goes to heaven." I am a Texas man who has spent over 20 years looking inside dogs. I believe that dogs harbor the spirit and soul of the devil, and they are becoming man's best friend. Here in the USA, where dogs of different lineages are born, we are the breeders of the most gameness dogs bred in the world. Here in Texas, we have created a family of American game dogs, which reach the point of gameness, being suitable for only 3 types of people. These 3 types of people are people who feed them, and people like protected by a saint, or are people with the faith of the devil himself. Those with a saint, the dogs will get scared, and they will jump in your lap and lick your face all over. But when a man of little faith comes face to face with that kind of dog, the dogs bred to fight, the man is in great danger. But the dog will be afraid of those who are most like saints, and will turn his head away from them. I watched many of these fighting dogs as they looked into the eyes of various men I have known in our time. I too looked at the men when they looked at him. This story I write for you, who are looking for a game dogs, comes from my understanding of the research we have. I have been involved over the last 25 years with fighting dogs and with gambling men and have been a lover of both. In my eyes, the most fighter man ever created was our Lord Jesus. He is a man of God and humanity, and he was sacrificed on the cross, not to tell a little lie. That is the faith, and the spirit of a gameness. On an autumn morning, early in the day, in the year 1961, I went to visit Earl Tudor at his home in Oklahoma. We had a female with us. She was a daughter of her dog family. We went to meet him and talk to him about the reproduction of this female. We talked a lot and bred the female. After that we drove 250 miles back home to Texas. Over the next few years, we returned to Earl Tudor's house several times. On one visit, I remember sitting on a couch with Earl. Since I had blue eyes, he always wanted me to sit next to him so he could look me in the eyes while we talked. We almost always talk about procreation, always trying to look each other in the eye. We had our own ways of understanding each other. We taught each other what we had done and what we were doing. But when it came time to talk about reproduction, I only asked questions. I remember one time Earl, in his mid-60s, started to cry a lot, when he told me, Those damn dog business friends, others who steal credit from all dogs. I was never given a bit of credit for my dogs. Then he'd wipe the tears from his eyes, put his glasses back on, stare at my face and say, "It's all on playback, Don, it's all on playback." Then he would tell me about the dogs, he would tell me about these pure dogs. They were dogs raised in the family, without being mixed, they were pure. So I said, "Earl, what's the best dog you ever had?" He looked up, and his wife said, "The best dogs Earl had were the old dog Henry." Have you ever lost a fight with the dog Henry? Isn't Earl? And Earl with a smile on his face said, "You are right. Old Henry's family dogs were red-eyed dogs and were animals of gameness. The eyes were red like a raccoon's eyes. They had a big mouth, with a lot of muscles on the head. Most were black, but some were white and some were red-nosed dogs. He told me that all Henry dogs could bite hard and were too wild, both for fighting and training. And like the Oklahoma preacher, he screamed in the middle of the night. He would kneel on the ground and say, they were dogs of deep gameness, of English origin. I sat there on the couch with that weird Earl Tudor scream and thinking, don't piss him off, don't say anything, he's wild in his sadness. Suddenly he got up and hid his pain. He went back to his seat and said, they were good, Don. He was like a wild black stallion. And then his wife said, he was as frail as a bay. Earl's love for pit bull dogs was like a mountain, it was so big. And we would sit for hours and talk non-stop. And with the stars twinkling in the sky, he looked straight into my eyes. He said so. If I could I would go back in time, to the days when it was nobody's business. That you did what you wanted. Then, he told me about Dibwa, about the demon, Black Jack Jr., his father and mother. He told me, Don, 20 years ago here in Oklahoma it was tough to get by. We put the dogs to fight, and we also put roosters in order to survive. In the 1930s men still took an Indian woman to marry. When Dust Cloud came, many people and dogs moved to California to become farmers. At that time, we had 3 holes in our house. He put dogs and roosters to fight every week, this for many years. He then told me that he had been shot 6 times, by 6 different men, and he never went to the hospital, the doctor went to his house. Once his brother-in-law shot him, and he didn't go to the doctor. He said he covered the hole where the bullet entered, and covered where it came out. He said, at that time, we had 7 almost ready dogs, they were prepared in 1 week. He said he was running in the field with the dogs. He said that back then there were no fences, it was just open land. He said, there was a mound of sand, with a chair that swiveled. We set up 7 dogs around the chair. I had a long fishing pole with a tail tied on a line. He would do it from dog to dog, 2 or 3 sets, while the others worked at the carpet mill. Earl said he never had a treadmill back then, and if he had one, he wouldn't use it. The carpet mill was the best place to work a dog. I said, yes, Earl, I know, I have one in my backyard. Then he would look me in the eyes and say, tell me, how do you train them? And I would start talking, telling him every single thing I did, and his eyes would shine. As I spoke, he moved quickly with his head held high, saying, you're right, you're right. Those bigwigs Shipley and Feely, they got all the credit. Earl always called Bill Shipley the big shot. He sent his female Flash, to a black male, to mate with Red Jerry. He explained to his black friend how to breed the female. He would then laugh like an angel. He said, "They were English dogs, Don. Everyone knows a lot about Irish dogs, and indeed they are good, but the English dogs were great. Red-eyed dogs, as red as a ruby. Wild as dogs, so hot they'd even eat a person." And I said, "I understand." Meanwhile she pulled up her long cotton dress, lowered her stockings to her ankles, to show her scars, from dog bites. Earl then laughed and said, "Flo was bitten 2 or 3 times trying to separate some dogs that got away when I wasn't home. It got to the point where I told her to stay home and let them fight to the death, so that she would not be bitten again. Then she said, 'Phyllis, those dogs, Henry, had a big mouth. You had to hit them on the head with a piece of iron for them to let go.'" Earl said, "Yes, she is telling the truth. I left him with an iron rod or a hammer in his hand if either of them bit. She was authorized to strike him in the head and kill him. She is a sweet and a great woman. I don't know how I could have done this without her help." Flo was a small woman, 5 feet tall, and 80 pounds. Earl was also a small man at 53 kilos. He said he would have been a fighter if he hadn't been shot in the belly once. He said, "Bert was a stronger fighter than I was, but I was like the sun over the mountain. I never hurt Bert, but he hurt me." We were talking about procreation. Earl carried the famous name of Tudor, the famous king who was known by the names of Henry, who was the first, and so on, in Europe. In 1400, in England, the way was open for the only surviving Lancastrian with the strength to assume and hold the throne. Henry Tudor was a descendant of John Tudor of Gaunt. He spent half his life in Wales, the rest on the continent. He found Welsh forces eager to join him, when he landed at Milford Haven, which led them to England. King Richard met them at Market Bosworth, near Leicester, on August 22, 1485. The first battle was between guard dogs, bred to fight. The royal army was larger, but it fought with less conviction. Many names Richard trusted had already decided to defect. Richard himself put dogs to fight valiantly, but received little respect for it. The crown of England found in a bush was placed on the head of Henry Tudor. And the corpse of the slain king was thrown upon a horse, and unceremoniously carried to Leicester. The last of the Plantagenets was gone. The stage was set for the Tudors. Tudor's mark was the dog and the dragon. Earl never told me he was from the English Tudor family, but he had the same little round eyes as in pictures of the Tudors in England. He had the courage to breed a lineage of dogs that he would have to face in the last days of his life in 1977. Earl became a difficult man to live with, in the last 2 years of his life, because of the hatred he had inside of him. He kept a pistol in his pocket from sunrise to sunset and cried a lot in the last years of his life. He told me stories about bad men he knew who would always stop by and visit him. As they came across the eastern Texas panhandle in western Oklahoma, where the rocks poke out of the ground in rows as if they'd been planted. Poor land which at the moment is too poor to grow weeds. He told me about a time he spent in court while on trial for murder. He told me stories about pit bull life and dogs that can only be told in a book. Earl Tudor was a man who liked us all, and he kept only 2 types of dogs. The ones he liked, and the ones a friend gave him. He started raising his family of dogs in 1908 after living with them throughout his childhood. His first dog to fight was a dog bred by Henry's son named Jack Swift. He bred him to a Henry bitch named Black Star and produced a dog named Judge. He has been on trial for 60 years, proving that the value of his dogs is real. And the certainty of creation is unbeatable over the years. It was like a river that never dried up. For most of Earl's adult life, he was a city bootlegger and his friend Jim Williams was a lawman. Jim always raised his females at Earl's house, and it was Jim Williams who took Earl's last sire out of his backyard. Jim and Earl lived 19 miles south to north of each other on the same road. They were just another sample of two friends who got to the point where they hated each other. For many dog deals, but they were friends until the end of Earl. Earl would say that he was a dog salesman, and Jim would say, "I don't know why Earl talks so badly about me." Jim could come and handle Earl's dogs all his life, and so he did. Earl spoke of his life as a smuggler, and the law, for which he never gave a cigarette, and was never arrested in his many years. And Jim would call Earl and tell him to close up shop. Until the statesman left town, every time the statesman went into town to try to arrest a smuggler. Earl met people like Pretty Boy, Floyd, Babyface Nelson, Frank Nash, who was raised a few miles from Earl. In the bad land of Oklahoma, when life survival was tough. But as an Oklahoma preacher, Earl climbed high on his mountain and screamed like a cat. After walking from Kentucky, when a boy rode in a wagon drawn by oxen, but with a red-haired stranger, rode to the Red Rock, on a black stallion, he left his mark on the world of life and fighting dogs. And like he said, you can't hang a man for killing a woman who's stealing his horse. And on the edge of life is where Earl lived in the Badlands of Oklahoma. He once told me that he won 24 fights in 24 months. And he said, "Hell, there's nobody who can win 24 straight fights, not even me." Then he'd laugh, and give me a fake right and left punch to the jaw. He was like the mountaintop sun dancing on her skin. And like a beacon that stands alone, Earl has traveled the highways of life in and around Oklahoma. At the same time he had more than 100 hounds and 200 roosters. He made his own penis spears out of bed springs. But the game dogs, it was his love for the hatred he had for men. The game we as men play when looking for the hardest fighting dogs. It's like looking for that true friend in life. After man deals with life, where men are having a hard time surviving, in a land that is called bad. As Earl screamed in pain from his mangled body as he lived one day at a time. He told me so many stories with so many different dog names that we talked for days. He lived near the cemetery where his parents lay to their incredible grace, as he was also there to rest. But in the moment of God's grace we will all rise and be counted, for sometimes I can hear his voice and spirit saying, "Go ahead, Don. Go ahead." It was like taking this job and sticking it. I'll have my way, and he did, but I assure you his last years were the hardest I've ever seen. He told me, "Don, if a man told me he could beat my dogs, would tell him I would beat him in no time, and he would." He told me. One time, we were put on the big shot. Shipley and friends of his came with a veteran a month before he died of old age. His name was Frumble of Arkansas. He was a good old man, I told him after the dogs were close. Bet your money it doesn't last 20 minutes. And at 18 minutes Big Shot's dog fell dead in the center of the ring. And old Frumble was the only man there who saw what I did. He shook my hand and told me how happy he was to meet the Oklahoma kid before he died. He just hugged my neck and left. It's sad. I saw what you did, I saw it. And Earl just laughed and said he was quite a man, quite a man. He then got up and sat down again. And he told me many stories about dogs every time we visited there. With many different dog names. Earl bred the Henry dogs as pure as he could, and bred them to the Feely and Shipley families. From his analysis of what he had done, from the different struggles he saw in his life. Dibwa was a dog bred for 41 years of Earl's life. In Dibwa's 8-generation pedigree, the 3 men whose names appear the most are Earl Tudor of Oklahoma 39 times, Con Feely of Illinois 36 times, Bill Shipley of Texas 24 times. Compared to these 3 men, the others in Dibwa's pedigree were bloodhound eaters. These 3 men were at the heart of the dogfight, where only the truth was. Gordon's female Red Lady was bred in the United States, where Tudor's name appears 38 times in her pedigree. When Earl bred Dibwa to Red Lady, his name appeared on his sons Jeff, Spike and Buck 77 times. In Black Widow's pedigree, Earl Tudor's name appears 69 times. When he bred Spike to Black Widow, his name appeared in Baby's pedigree 146 times. He then bred Spike's brother, Jeff, with the Baby, and produced Nigger, his last and purest family sire. His name appeared in Nigger's pedigree 223 times. He then bred Nigger to his sister and produced a single female named Spooky, and his name appeared in her pedigree 446 times. These 2 American game dogs were the purest breed of Earl Tudor's understanding of the game he played nearly 67 years of his life. And right now, after he's dead and gone, there are still some so-called friends of his trying to take away his breeding credit. My name is Rodolpho Luiz, and I invite everyone to enjoy the knowledge of this wonderful breed. Sign up so you don't miss the next video. God bless you all. I went.